First of all, I'd like to thank my friends, family, distinguished guests, and the media for coming here and supporting my book. Thank you so much. Ernest Hemingway has rightly said there's nothing to writing. Basically, all you do is sit down at the typewriter, in our case, our computers, and just bleed. That's about it. And I feel very rightly said because writing does take a lot of sweat, toil, emotion, and it literally, your characters literally do make you bleed. Dance of Durga is a very special story for me as it has traveled with me through some of my most beautiful moments and celebrations in life and also been with me through some terrible personal loss and grief.
Is your relationship with God on and off? Do you believe in God?
It all depends on how you define God. Now, if it is a traditional definition, then maybe I'd say no. But my belief is that I find godliness in the cosmic design. I find godliness in coincidences. So my idea of godliness and God is fluid and may not necessarily conform to a traditional definition of God per se. And I can discover godliness in a sweet mango. Rajeev was talking about it in the morning. But it's really true in nature, in trees, leaves, it's everywhere for me. Is the relationship on and off? Like any other relationship, yes, it has its ups and downs. But we work around it. And ultimately, it keeps us going. So yes, like my character Rajjo, I do have my differences with this supreme universal being, and I make my peace after a while.
So, Anushka, you have read the book. Yeah, and I want to ask you the same question. Do you believe in God?
I want to thank the media who's here. It's for Kanika. I have seen her through the time when she started writing this book, or maybe in between I met her. We worked on a movie together, and I've seen the transition in her. I've never been a writer, and that's something which I envy people who write, because I don't know how you all get into that world of imagination, and I feel your platform is so huge. What you all create is what a lot of us sit and look up to and dream, whether it's fairy tales, whether it's a lot of things. So I've closely seen her go through a lot writing this book, and then so I keep telling her every time she has a launch, I said, you've given birth to the baby, so it can't be worse than that. So more than this, it's how people read and interpret and how they absorb it and onto themselves. Now, and I would want to thank everyone here to be a part of this, friends, family, a lot of people from the industry, media, and thanks for having me here. So getting back to Ashwini now, yes, I do believe in God. When I was sitting there, when you said believe in God, there's something which, I just realized as we were talking that one thing which is very common in the whole thing is that word believe. Do you believe in God? Do you not believe in God? Do you believe in the universe? Do you believe in yourself? So I feel each one of us, there's something that we share so commonly and so strongly is belief. And I feel that itself is a faith. I feel that itself is a God in itself. That whatever you believe in it, you make it your own, you live by it, that's your strength, I feel. So I guess whatever is anyone's belief, I feel it's their God. And my God, of course, I believe in the Almighty, the one person, whoever is there. And of course, a lot of my traditionals, my ancestral deities, so I do believe in all of that.
Tell me something, Anika. How important is a cultural setting in writing a story?
Universally, stories follow this one pattern, which is of birth, death, and renewal. And I feel that what makes each story different from the others are the characters and their settings. Now, how important is a cultural setting to a character? I feel a cultural setting gives you the mood, the theme, the context to which you set your characters against. And for me, it's very important to know the roots of the character, where they come from. Their belief system and their opinions are built from the cultural setting that they come from, their socio-economic background. So, I mean, a character obviously is incomplete and in vacuum if you don't give it strong roots and a strong background. And also, not just in stories, as people also, we are creatures of environment, you know. We become who we are because of the environment we grow up in, what we experience, what memories we create. Similarly, as in life, our surroundings and our reactions to those surroundings and our circumstances make us who we are. Our culture defines us in many ways. In the same way, in a story, you need that grounding to give to your character, for them to be more relatable, for them to feel more real. And I feel the more, like you were saying, that you could smell the jaggery. You know, I for one feel that the more focus I give to these details, and the more, the closer I get to that environment or that character or that setting at that point, the more universal will my character and my story be. Because it will become all that more real, and it will not just be words written on a page or somebody's imagination. It will have some context to it. So for me, my characters, the character setting is of utmost importance.
Just before we get into the story, I wanted to share something. I'm not someone who's an avid reader. Never read fiction at all because I don't know, maybe it's I'm just so too big-headed, because I feel I have this vivid imagination, and unless someone can really come and break it, I don't want to read something and get into somebody else's world of imagination. And of course, Kanika is a friend, and when she came up with a name called Dance of Durga itself, and she told me a small bit when she was writing, which caught my attention, because I could immediately imagine without imagining better. I could go with it and feel so good with the moments that she was telling me, and that is why I was keen to read this book. And that's something which I want to share with you itself, because we've never spoken about the book before. I believe that each one of us, we live a life, I think this whole universe runs on duality. Each one of us has a duality, where there's too much of love, genuine love, then it's a very thin line. You can very quickly flip to hatred. Only if there's that much of love can you flip to hatred. Where there's that much of faith, you can go into not believing in faith. So Raju's character is something which I could so relate to, whether it's Raju or whether it was Durga. It was something which I could so relate to, that I feel in a very writer's point of view, like how you describe the atmosphere so well, the smell of the rain and all of that, which I feel all of us have forgotten nowadays. We don't, you know, when before the rains come, you know, when I remember when I was a child, I could smell the mud, yes. And as I've grown up, you get busy in your life and you forget that. At similarly, as people, we tend to forget the emotions and what we go through. And that's when, again, getting back to Raju and Durga, I feel all those things each one of us have within us. We have a Raju, we have a Durga, we have faith, we have immense faith, we have immense love, we have hatred. You know, we can go to a point of destruction. So each and every part of this book took me through a journey where I could relate to it, and it helped me in a lot of ways, because I felt that maybe at some point of my life, whether it's love, whether it's your desires, where you want to go, it's how you take yourself, your belief system, your support system that takes you ahead, and how you can either slip to be a Raju or a Durga. So I want to thank you very much. If you go ahead.
Thank you for the lovely words.